Hello and welcome back to the channel, here for yet another league race, this time in the LPR League, and we're at Bahrain and the Netherlands. Today we've got a double header, you'll find out why soon enough. So there will be two races in this video, at least two races to the best I can get them out. This is round 1 of season 3. Here in LPR, of course, brand new season. We finished P2 last season in the final Brazil race. Of course, go back and watch that if you haven't already. Of course, brand new season here. You can see the first lap. We're currently sitting P2. Of course, we're in the Mercedes for this season alongside the Ferrari Lando, who of course beat us to the championship last time around in season 2. But we've got a promotion from the Pink Panthers to now the Black Panthers, I guess. Doing for Racing Point to Mercedes.
Let's go.
So we now prepare for our second run. I know I needed a good lap here. The competition is even better in LPR for season 3, which means no dawdling at all from myself. I need to be full on attack every week, and the best way to do that is to I don't know, really, just do what I can. As always, starting now our second and final lap of qualifying, heading down towards turn 1. Just preparing all the way down the straight, hit the brakes. At the point where I hit the brakes, get a turn in for turn 1, possibly the best line I've ever taken through that first corner. And of course, struggling as ever through turn 2. No, still don't know when I can go full throttle. I think quite a bit earlier than I am. Short shifting will help me through there. Also through turn 4, possibly the best I've ever done it, which sets you up really nicely coming down into the second sector. You see we're a tenth and a half up through the first sector, very nearly losing on the curve on the outside of turn 7, and then massive lock up into turn 8, which puts us massively offline. We're coming down through 9 and 10, a little bit of lock up as well, but it is neat in terms of the line. We've still got the car rotated nicely before we're heading down now towards turn 11. Possibly could use a bit more of the track on the entry. I'm not using any of the exit curve either, possibly lost a couple of thousandths there. To get up through turn 13, we are, despite the mistakes at turn 7 and 8, we are purple. Sector 2 apparently, I don't entirely believe that. But we are just over 3 tenths up on our current time. Down towards turn 14 now. Got the car rotated, possibly a little bit too much curve there on the inside. We get a pretty decent exit, open the DRS as well and run up to the line, and it's going to be P6 at the end of that run. We find just under 3.5 tenths in the end there, which puts us P8 overall on the grid. You see my teammate second, which got all the way down to 20, another full grid. Of course, Luke not setting a time for whatever reason that is. Hopping on straight to the grid then, changing the strategy of course. As always, want to be on the soft tyres at the end of the race. Get the mediums out of the way in the middle. I would start on them, but of course, qualifying in the top 10, we have to start on those soft tyres. You can see a little bit of ghosting start, everyone not really loaded in. As we'd like to go out, that does fix itself. Vessia goes absolutely nowhere off the line, so we jump up straight away into P8. And down into turn 1, we then get done by, I think that's Cam driving up the inside, little tap with Billy. But we just about hold it on there, just as well, nearly getting clipped by Lion. And then Alpha just pushing us off the track. They're not really anywhere I could go. Running up into turn 4, now we're going a little bit sort of cautiously, but then get on the power a little too early. Tap on the back of the Renault, and we have to pretty much catch a massive bit of oversteer. Otherwise we're going to spin around being a roadblock. And then nearly getting collected by Reds there, who also, as well as me, has had a pretty terrible start. Of course, I started P9, I think it was in the end. Red started at 1 place behind me, might have been P8, P9, might have been P9, P10, I'm not entirely sure. But we've both dropped the same amount of places now, coming down towards turn 11. Of course, first year after that bad start, getting back up ahead of me. Vettel as well has come through. Should have now through turn 12. We are eyeing up the racing point ahead of us, so as Vessia goes off, we dive up the inside of the racing point. He just turns in on us. We have to cut the corner in order to not make contact.
Let's make the best of it.
Then he's coming back at us here down towards the final couple of corners. Very aggressively cutting me off, so I'm like, nope, I don't think so. Sending it straight back up the inside, but we do run a little bit deep. But luckily we get a good enough exit so that Vettel could not come back at us. We have a very mild slipstream from Alpha as well, going down towards turn 1. As we get ready to hit on the brakes, you can see a massive dive from Vettel up my inside, and then just pushes me a little bit. Doesn't really make the corner, uses me as a brake. And then we solidify that position. And then as we overtake, there was a Billy that went off track. He was ghosted, he was slow, he wasn't on the circuit, and yet I still get an illegal overtake. So I'm like, oh okay, well this sucks. So I would have reported that after the race. I don't know if LPR allow that in terms of if you get a 5-second penalty and you have to serve it during the race. I don't think they take it off you. Now it's coming up on now to the end of lap 3, ready to start lap 4. We're in P9, right up behind Alpha. As we get a much better exit out of the final corner, we move to the inside straight away and move up past the Renault that crossed us positions at the start. Nothing he did wrong. Just a little misjudgment on my behalf, and then we come down into turn 1. Again, he just sends it up the inside and just runs me off the track for the second time this race. I managed to keep my car on the inside of turn 2, he drives around the outside of me. So at this point, I'm not the happiest boy in the world. Going to turn 4, we just send it. I'm not really in the best of moods at this point, of course. I didn't get the best of starts. But the decision is now solidified as we come through turn 6. Forcing Alpha to just back off a little bit. I was in a very punchy, aggressive mood at this state. You know, I just, before this, I had a DGO race, which will be going up after this because I'm really underprepared. So you'll see what happens in that one. That would explain my mood for this one. So do stick around for that one. Moving on to lap 6, however, on the back of Cam now, as he loses it coming through turn 7. We also have a Ferrari off at X Games. Both of them losing it pretty much at the same spot, I would assume, as their cars end up in the same place once their momentum is stopped. Because now we're jumping on to the end of that lap. You can possibly see it on the map. Exit of turn 11, there is a Williams going slow, I think that is. So we have a virtual safety car deployed. The second one of the race. We decided to pull into the pit lane. Being told to stay out, but listens to Jeff. Mainly my idea for this was I knew the tyres couldn't have gone too much further. So I simply just thought to myself, let's pit in now, get rid of the penalty. It was a stupid penalty, but you know, we got it. And we're going to have to serve it in a pit stop anyway, so might as well serve it now under the virtual safety car, but of course we do go green before we get out to the pits, but we do manage to get the actual pit stop done during the DSC. So we do stay with a little bit of time. You can see Red has jumped us, and we now have Billy bearing down on us as we come up to the first corner, but we just about hold this from there. Tries to get a switch back, which does pretty nearly come off. He does pull up alongside on the exit of turn 2, but we're pretty much going to have none of that. Hold the position just for now. We backed up a little bit before the braking zone for turn 4. So down to P14 at the moment, catching up to the back of Reds, Vessia and a couple other cars, not too sure who they are at this stage. We're now on to lap 9 of the race, a couple of laps after. Pretty much have a 4-5 car scrap here. I think it might be Luke in P11. And then there's another car just ahead of him, don't know who it is, one of the Hasses, Brandon. You see going through the final corner there, Luke runs massively wide, Brandon also comes a little bit short. So now running 3 wide, Vessi's going to join in on that little gaggle as well. Making it 4 wide very briefly, Brandon slots in behind, and we're just watching this, kind of waiting for a monumentous crash. We just stick behind into turn 1, look to get a switch back, which we don't really get, we don't get good enough exit. As we head up now towards turn 4, we have to literally back out completely there, we would have run into the back of Reds or Brandon. We are on the inside of Reds as we come up into turn 4. He does turn unless Brandon loses the back end as well. So we dive it through the middle, and then we all come together.
Are you alright? Sit tight, the
we're
marshals
into
are
the
on their
wall.
way.
So that is me and Brandon out. Reds took the blame for that, I think, but I said it wasn't your fault. So obviously I was in the middle. Their second time I've been sandwiched 3 wide, but oh well, we move on from these things. Of course, both Brandon taking the same fate as I did. So it's not the end of the world, but of course, constructors for my teammate, I would like to do the best I can to challenge for that. And what you're seeing now is the Zandvoort, so the Netherlands event. So 1 week later, this is now round 2. Now coming up to finish our first flying lap of the session. You can see the track is sort of, it's very dark.
That's the fastest
But we do
lap so
set
far.
the initial pace due to being the first car to set a lap time. But you can see now we've dropped down to P8. So it's not really looking the best for us at the moment. I want to have a good race here today. Mainly just to try and get my championship underway. I think 12 rounds for this season. But I'm not too sure. Of course, we DNF'd in the first race. Now coming to round 2, I want to get my campaign kicked off essentially. Do what we can, try and do the best we can as we always do, without putting too much pressure on ourselves. Just see the Mercedes crew there preparing for us to head out to the pits. So now gets preparing, we're about to start the final lap of the session. You can see 3.5 minutes left on the clock. She had around the final corner of the bank, turn 15 I think it is. Across the line now to start the lap. You can see our last best is a 10.2. I think the fastest time at the moment was like an 8 point something, so of course we want to get somewhere near that. And I could be completely wrong there, it may have been a 9, it was definitely at least a 9. You can see taking a slightly different line through turn 4 to what I normally did, like before this evening. Mainly just trying, I saw the GT3s do it there, when they came in for the GT World Challenge Europe sprint event. They essentially dived to the apex of turn 4 and then used the banking and didn't get a narrow exit, but they carried a little bit more speed. So that's kind of what I was trying to do throughout this race. I don't think I nailed it at all, but you know, I know for next time now what works, what doesn't. The next time we come to this track, I don't know when that's going to be. I think it's going to be at least a good couple of weeks. You come through turn 12, absolutely jumping over that curve on the inside. We head down to 14 now, just going to cover. I don't really want to. Funky Fox there getting out of the way nicely. Now we're through the banking, down the little crest slope, whatever you want to call it, and out to the line. It's only P7, but we do find almost half a second. P7 of course is not what we really want to aim for. As you can see, it drops down to P9 at the end of that, with my teammate in P6. There you can see the rest of the field. 20 cars once again, one car not setting a lap time. Seeing a bit of a pattern here. So for the timer to tick down, just shows how bad at editing these things I am, wasting time. Jumping into the race then, you can see the soft, hard strategy there is suggested to us, to which I think I try and change that over to a soft medium, but it doesn't quite let me, so I'm like, okay then, soft hard it is, we'll go with that. Lowering the fuel as well. I forgot what laps there were initially then. As we get ready now for the 5 red lights, you can see ghosting once again. The lobbies are not the most stable, as you'll see for the remainder of this video. Right behind the Vessia once again. And as I said, once again a lot in the last minute, but oh well. Going around the outside of the first corner, you see the McLaren there again with a terrible internet, gets a little bit spun. Spun, span, spinned, whatever word you want to use there. When they exit the first corner. So we're up into P8 now. As we exit turn 4, you can see a little bit of carnage behind, a little bit of snap of oversteer as well for us, but we just about hold on to that. So we're now up 1 position. I think it might be actually up 2. I think someone knows that's in the race, never mind, ignore me. Just up to 1 for now. You can just see Betty actually got a decent start this time, as we do according to Jeff. There you might have seen a little bit of carbon fibre flying off of one of the cars ahead. I thought it was Alpha at the time, but I think it was the racing point of the Vessia. You can see that Renault of Alpha just darting out a little bit. The game has no idea where his car is. His internet was absolutely horrendous, as you will see later on in this video. Made it very difficult indeed to do anything near him. The GX are now the final corner to finish the first lap of this race. So we have a little bit of a gap to the guys behind, but nothing too major. and the guys ahead as well, but it's equal. So once again through turn 1, the Renault lagging horrendously. As Vessi tries to make a move on Alpha, we're just going to try and stay with them. You can see here, it's just absolutely horrendous. Like, it's so difficult to race against someone. Like, it may have happened to me as well. I think a couple of times I have been told after a race I was lagging a bit. I don't think I've ever lagged to the extent of this. You can see now he's also lagged past the Ferrari. As we come down through turn 9, I think that is, Vessi runs a little bit wide, so we dive up the inside of them. Seeing the gap going for it, then we get saved from the switchback by the virtual safety car, which helped out massively. Replay of that start, now you can see the entire field has ghosted, even us, as the lights go out. You can see the McLaren in the second row, they're just moving around quite a lot to come into the first corner. Pretty much just holding the outside line, allowing people to spin on the inside so we wouldn't hit them. You can see just briefly there McLaren that spun from the second row of the grid, clipped the curve on the inside. You can see there the Alpha Tauri behind us, I think that was Cam, just clipping our rear tyre through turn 4. We head now down into turn 1 on lap 5. See the Ferrari ahead of us just loses it, and we've hit them. I did initially get a little bit annoyed by that because I was like, why wouldn't you hold your brakes? You've just spun, but then obviously watching this back when I edited it, I was like, okay. He did hold his brakes and that's why I hit him. So that's just a misjudgment on my behalf. So here the Ferrari just loses it on the inside curve. I tried to go around the outside. Try and predict where the Ferrari's going to end up. Get it horribly wrong. So that's going to drop us all the way down now into P13 as we now exit turn 13 though. I just let Mario go there. Pointless trying to hold him behind me.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on
I was just going to get in his way, probably give him damage as well. We have to fight the car there through the final corner, dive into the pit lane. Of course, get that new front wing. I believe we've gone soft tyres as well. You can see the Ferrari ahead of us as well, coming into the pit lane. New front wing. And we believe he picked up another 5-second penalty, so that was 10 seconds altogether. Which of course then converted to 5 seconds after he served half of it on that pit stop. You can see now King, who was that McLaren that spun at the start, is now ahead of me. Vestia as well, who finished at the end of lap 2. They've also got the undercut on me. As now we spent that lap just catching onto the back of Cam, who's on hard diamond soft, starting up the inside now into turn 1. You can see Vessi is spun there on the outside of the corner, probably just use the inside curb. So the inside line now for turn 3 contact, and we're round for the second time in this race. Honestly, at this point, see, we just stopped there on the banking, just in case we weren't ghosting, so Curtis or Storm didn't hit us, essentially. So they had overtime to sort of see my car and react. But with this, I mean, I have reported it to the stewards, but I did mention that it could be a racing incident, as I also just made a little bit of a joke, pretty much just saying it's not the first time I've done that, going side by side through turn 3.
The safety car has been deployed.
Yeah, I still do it. You know, it never normally ends well, but I still do it. Bit of fun, isn't it? As you can see, onto lap, I think that was lap 10 where this little clip started. Safety car has been deployed for Cam, who retired. So we dive into the pit lane. I don't know how my mechanics were not ready for me here. My teammate had left the pit lane, and yet they still weren't ready for me. So honestly, that's ridiculous. Codies need to do something about double stacking. You can see we are now in P16.
Look after these tyres now.
After that pit stop, I missed coming into the pits by I think about 3 or so seconds. I could have pitted last lap. May have been able to jump a couple of cars,
until the green flags. Safety
but
car
of course,
in this lap.
Just about missing out there. We were absolutely on a charge after the contact of Cam, turn 4. Putting in, I don't think session best, but definitely personal best every lap. Now in P15, I believe Mario spun the safety car, so a little bit careless from him, but we're going to take it. We get ready to restart now, right up behind Vessia in that racing point. Of course, my car from last season is when I go through the penultimate corner. You can see the pack ahead just goes and Vessia doesn't. That's actually annoyed me quite a lot. But as you're going to see in the next minute or so, it was actually a bit quite beneficial for us. obviously we also completely dropped Brandon and Mario behind us by almost 2 seconds.
Okay, clear.
Also, it's about 2-second gap from Vessia to Billy. But you can see there's just pretty much 2 wide up ahead of us, so that, and we're able to run at full pace just being single file. You would have heard a little bit of contact there as we run up now over the crest. 2 cars there off. That was a reflection of the next games. So the Ferrari being caught up in another incident. Now as we dive through turn 8, you'll see Funky Fox off to the left. Apparently his steering wheel just threw him off the track. He's been having quite a few issues with that.
You're managing it well.
So he needs to buy a new one. Jumping forwards now to lap 14, you can see we're right up behind, or not right up behind.
If you think you can get past, make
As we
use
come
of
through the
the
final
overtake
corner,
button.
absolute
See
carnage,
what
a
you
massive
can do.
crash.
Safety car.
And
No overtaking. Reduce your pace.
That scared the
Keep
absolute
your
life
delta
out of me
number
there.
positive as we form up.
Honestly, my heart rate went from, you know, pretty casual to OMFG, what just happened? And I'm very lucky our teammate ghosted there as well. Well, that would have been damage, definitely damage for me, maybe even contact. Absolutely terrifying. We just about avoid hitting anyone though. Of course, Aqua, apparently they took off in qualifying with a crash, and I think they took off again there. So lap 16 now, we're going to get ready to go racing again at the end of this lap. I think it's this lap anyway, it might actually be the next lap. But you can just see the McLaren head. This is the McLaren that spun on lap 1. And you can see we're just terrified to go in. You can see behind us Hamrick lagging as well, as he always does. The South African internet not the best to connect to these European servers. You can just see I'm absolutely terrified to go anywhere near the McLaren. I really didn't want to go anywhere near him. I heard Delta say in commentary, just saying I was scared to try and make a move. If they weren't lagging, I would have been fine to do it. But when you physically don't know where their car is, it's absolutely terrifying because you don't want to get damaged, you don't want to get a penalty.
Green flag.
As we chuck it through turn 3, through turn 4, you can see Alpha there, apparently up the top. He's not there, he's actually a couple car lengths off the road. Once again, his internet being absolutely terrible. Jumping on a lap further than to lap 19 as we head up through turn 7 and over through turn 8. Another massive crash,
Yellow flag.
which once again we just about avoid. Hamrick didn't even brake through there.
Caution. The
Honestly,
virtual safety
I don't know
car
how.
is out. Reduce speed and
He
maintain a
absolutely just
positive
sent it
delta.
and nearly hit the back of me. How I didn't hit anyone in either the first pile up or in the caused safety car, or this one here, I have no idea. But this one was terrifying as well because obviously this involved the laggy McLaren, who somehow survived that. The only car to return from that second one was Vessia. But yeah, you can see now heading up to the back of Alpha. We're up into P5 now. No idea how, but that's how things are. Of course, we are running 19th on lap 7, and now 14 laps later. We're up in P5. Of course, safety cars definitely help us. No, what I didn't know is Alpha actually left the session here. That's why he was going so slowly. I think he's now ghosting as we come through this final corner, lagging absolutely horrendously. But due to there being a glitch with the lobby, I overtake him here, but we get given an illegal overtake, which
Okay, you need to give that
honestly
position back. That was an
just annoyed
illegal
me further. As
overtake.
you can see now, we're just lifting down the straight, trying to get him to overtake us, and he just doesn't. So I'm just like, oh, okay, then we've just lost, what, 2-3 seconds to the guys behind them. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to go. Accept the penalty, report it. I'm not planning on stopping again. We just let our teammate through at turn 4 there. I thought we could go catch the guys ahead, of course, he's on better tyres. It would have made no sense for me to hold him up. But that's pretty much it for the race. We had Reds right behind us. He was in 2 seconds of us for a very long time. And then I think his tyres sort of gave up towards the end as one of the Williams car spins there. But they do come up to line to take P5. I have also requested that penalty to be removed. It doesn't change my finishing position, but I think it's just a nice thing to get sorted. But it is 4th and 5th for Mercedes. I think Lando finished 2nd last week in Bahrain when I didn't finish. So our campaign's slowly getting up there, but very slowly. That'll be it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. Do leave a like and subscribe as well, helps me out massively. Also feel free to drop any comments down below. I do read and reply to as many as I can. Of course I don't get too many anyway, so it's not too much to ask. But that'll be it for today. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you hopefully tomorrow with the next one. See you then.